Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve and Larson.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available where podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. This Sunday, very exciting stuff. The Royal Rumble, 5 months old. Larson, 4 months old. Getting around to those.
Less than 4 months, actually.
Minus 10 days. Apologies.
About a week.
Larson's doing his movie marathon punishment for the Royal Rumble.
In my defense, I did dump a glass of wine on my laptop, and that kind of slowed things down a little bit.
Granted, we're old. So, we have shivery hands, shaky hands sometimes. That happens.
Sometimes I just do this, apparently, around this area and knock stuff over. Nonetheless, it's happening Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. I made a really bad thumbnail type thing I'm going to post on Twitter tomorrow morning. It's going down at our Twitch. Again, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Watching General Commander.
Yeah, starring.
Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah.
And then Star Trek the motion picture, and Steve might pop in to annoy me while
I'll come in and out. I want to see the part where he says, Decker, stop competing with me.
I'm just going to, if that's the case, I'm just going to ban you. So I'll have to deal with you coming in and out because I have to adjust stuff and I don't want to do that.
Oh, just full screen yourself. That's what you want to do anyways, is just full screen yourself for these things. And then but keep yourself on Zoom and then it'll double screen.
Yeah, but then when I double screen, it'll mess with the thing on the side and the cropping of everything.
We'll talk about it, but it'll be okay. I'll set it up so that it'll be fine. No, it's not. It's really not. I'm not talking down to you. It's just I know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, Smackdown happened tonight. What I thought it started off weird and awkward, like a first date or something. But then, as the night wore on, and we got to know each other, things went better. By the end, a home run, Larson. There's my metaphor for you.
Okay.
We had the return.
It was really awkward to start.
Yeah. Was that just? This was my speculation during the show. I have nothing to back this up whatsoever. Vince is owed, right? He's super owed now, and so I wonder if he's sort of recalling stuff from
Did he forget who the champions were, and so they wrote the show to remind him. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh,
I'm saying that maybe ages ago, when he was at a wrestling show when he was a kid or something at Madison Square Garden. Maybe they did something similar. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's just trying weird shit. I think it's a big deal because they had the announcement today they're going back on the road. And so, cool. Queen of the Ring is here. Hello, up, Alex? What's going on? I saw she was tier ranking.
I saw that.
Wrestling theme songs. I did not sort of peep what exactly was top tier, but really quick.
Is Shawn Michaels' theme is top tier.
Oh, she would put. She's like I didn't think there was a bigger HBK fan than you, but then I met Alex.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to be in there. I mean, come on. Jericho's Walls of Jericho's got to be in there. I'll be honest. I'd probably put Judas in there at this point. Steve Austin's got to be in there. Yeah. Anyways, what were we talking about? Smackdown.
I remember. Hi, Alex. Thanks for the sub.
So I think they're really excited that they're going back on the road. And so they did this celebratory weird champions parade thing.
Which would make more sense if it was if this was the day after WrestleMania.
I agree.
That'd make a ton of sense. If there is a season premiere of SmackDown.
Felt like a season
it'd make sense. Or heck, even the first show back on the road. Hey fans, maybe you haven't really been keeping up with SmackDown television since it's not in front of live crowds. Here, let's you can mean like the Return of the Road, you kind of treat as a season premiere in a way. It just seemed like a weird, awkward place to say, here, a parade of champions or a parade of title holders.
You're absolutely correct, though. Didn't this feel more like a SmackDown after Mania than the SmackDown after Mania? It really did in like several ways. You know, there was a big return, Aleister Black, a big NXT call-up debut, Rick Boogs. Is it Boogs? Boogs. Hard G or soft G?
I honestly don't know.
I thought it used to be Booge, but I thought I heard Boogs.
It used to be Booge.
It used to be Booge, but I think it's Boogs now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
he spelled it, but that really illuminated nothing in terms of how it was pronounced, because when he said it, it still sounded like it could be either Boogs or Booge.
Yeah, it could, because he said Boogs. Could be a hard G or a soft G.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Soft G.
So are people saying it was soft G?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a hard G. God, I swear. Anyway. Anyways. Hold on. Talk a little bit. My dog decided as soon, we had like a 30-minute pre-show.
I see her milling about back there. I see her milling about
over there, man. I thought you were just chilling.
It looks like she
come over. You're leaving.
She doesn't want to listen about all the SmackDown talk.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. Anyway, so we got the in-ring return, kind of Aleister Black tonight. He had another one of those video things where I tried to keep up with what he was saying, but at a certain point I was like, all right, I'll just get the end of it, because once he gets to the kind of the point, his thesis, that's kind of the important stuff. He showed up at the end of the main event, which was really good, and then gave Big E a black mass, which allowed Apollo Crews to successfully retain the Intercontinental title. It's great seeing Aleister back. I like how the lights went down in the arena, and there was like a almost like a portal that opened up at the foot of the ramp. It looked like
Raw Gate,
kind of, yeah.
Raw Gate,
and
man.
He walks through it, this like bright blue light.
Yeah,
he walks through it, and he just comes to the ring. He's got a contact in one eye, still selling what happened during the Seth Rollins stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
I just want to know why Big E.
So, what answer would satisfy you? I don't mean that sounds like I'm calling you out or something, but I'm saying you, me, whoever. Is there an answer that's satisfying? So they're saying, okay, we're going to put him in a feud. I feel like I sort of made this mention in the pre-show. We can almost play like a game with it. And I used to do a thing with who would you rather be right now? Like, for example, would you rather be Apollo Crews or Kevin Owens? Well, Apollo Crews has a bright, new, shiny coat of paint. He's got a new heater in Commander Aziz. He's got a new accent, which is somewhat polarizing, but I think everybody sort of accepts it now. It's like, whatever. He's running with it. And he is doing phenomenal work, by the way. They've given him the ball.
Has been really good, yes.
Like all the, when he really understands how to cherish that title as a character, and it's like you can see the appreciation he has for being allowed to finally do something. No longer are we saying they should do more with Apollo Crews. Sami Zayn's sort of in that same category. He's killing it right now. Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and I think Big E is on the precipice. And I know Cesaro just came out of a thing with Roman, but he's about to lose a thing with Seth Rollins. And
probably
he'll settle back down to like where Kevin Owens is right now. They are not guys with a fresh coat of paint, so they're not going to be featured. Seth Rollins has the drip. He's got the fresh coat of paint. He's on the way up.
Last week, his suit literally looked like someone splashed paint on it.
It did. This week, it was amazing. The I think it was like a Dia de los Muertos thing.
Yeah.
Just beautiful stuff. He's on the way up. You can really track who's on the way up and who's on the way, or stagnating anyways. And I feel like Big E is potentially stagnating.
So I guess that's a way to look at it, because you'd think, all right, they pumped a bunch of money into this stuff for Aleister. They're going to give him a push, which means winning feuds, which is entirely possible and probably likely. But I guess you put Big E in a feud with Aleister. This is going to answer your question as far as the why aspect, but I'll get to that in a second. You put Big E in the feud with Aleister, even if he loses it, to further the idea, I guess, that you've mentioned, others have mentioned, that he needs to get more serious. And now he is more serious than he used to be to a degree, but he still comes to the ring. He still gyrates the hips, And so if they really want to keep pushing feud by feud, Big E to kind of lose the goofier aspects of his character, or not make him so prominent, and have him become more laser focused and more aggressive, more serious, however you want to put it. Seems like a program with Aleister could go a long way in terms of accomplishing that. That's probably me being optimistic. I like Big E a lot. I think he could be a world champion at some juncture. But as far as the why, I don't know. As far as why Aleister would say, Big E, I'm coming after you first, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
So it's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing, I feel, because so you could either have Aleister target Rey Mysterio,
which would make sense.
Which would make sense, but you and I have both said we want Aleister nowhere near that old stuff, near that stuff from before, because it just reeks of, it'll remind us where he was before. You know how WWE is, when you have a fresh coat of paint, they want to keep that fresh. And
well, to a degree, but Aleister's got the contact in one eye.
They're still referencing it, yeah.
So it's not like they're trying to distance themselves from that altogether.
Yeah, yeah. The reference is still there. We'll see how deep they go with it. And I think that if this was, I don't know. I think that it's the kind of thing where WWE views Big E as a guy who is still viewed, as he's very strongly power ranked, if you will. And so, hey, we need a strong character for Aleister to get his first big win against as this repackaged Aleister Black. Big E is perfect for that, which kind of sucks for Big E because it does mean he's on his way up. Now, I really hope what you're talking about is true. I kind of feel that's more of like an AEW or New Japan type thing where they actually tell some long-term character arcs. They say, hey, Big, we're going to have you lose to a bunch of high-profile guys, and that's going to be your journey to getting back up, and we have solid plans for that. WWE doesn't work that way. They work with moments instead.
They don't, but I have more faith. I have more faith in SmackDown doing that kind of stuff than Raw.
That's
Raw
a good point. Yeah,
never does that.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I have tons of faith in Big E himself. That even if he ends up stagnant, so let's take Cesaro really quick, and I'm going to say something that maybe some people aren't going to like. I do not connect with Cesaro at all. And I really have never, with the exception of when he's palling around with tag teams. When he's with Sheamus, I feel it because he always has good chemistry and it comes off as genuine. His chemistry with tag teams is always very genuine. When he's trying to connect to a crowd as a solo guy, man, I don't feel it. I really don't. Okay. I think the world of him. Big E connects. Totally connects. So a guy like Cesaro, I don't know what to do with that. A guy with Big E, he's not going to lose his personality. It's just a matter of figuring it out. It was kind of the same with Apollo Crews. I actually always connected with that guy in the few times he talked to me. Not me, but the audience. Yeah. And they figured it out. It took a while, but they figured it out.
Yeah.
Big E has got 10 times the charisma of pretty much anybody on the roster. He's a terrifically fun wrestler to watch. They have just they try to do the half in, half out. He's away from the New Day, but he's not really away from the New Day. He's just solo New Day guy. And he has changed up his promos a little bit to be a little bit more serious. And I hope that it's the kind of thing where maybe he takes it upon himself a little bit and he gets a little bit of help from creative down the line. And we see that from Big E. But right now, he's stagnating. And Aleister Black, creatively speaking, they've decided is going to take advantage of Big E.
That seems to be the case, but it remains to be seen. Maybe I don't know what they're going to do with all this. Maybe they'll kind of make Aleister the Bray Wyatt of SmackDown, if you will, where wins and losses aren't paramount. It's his long-term effects on the people he faces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you go back to the Hell in a Cell match, which I know a lot of people didn't like with Seth. But even in, it's been a constant story thing with Bray where someone faces him, they're different afterwards. Yeah, and maybe they'll do something like that with Aleister. Or even it's, in the case of Aleister, it's not so much winning the battle, it's winning the war. Maybe he could take a couple L's. I'll go back to the Bray's first match against John Cena at WrestleMania 30, because that was pretty much what that match was about. Was Bray going to lose the battle to win the war? Was he going to lose a match but make John Cena violate his own principles to do it? They had it. They booked it so they had their cake and ate it too. Where Cena he won and didn't violate his principles. So is Aleister going to be able to bring that out of Big E to do something that he normally wouldn't do in an attempt to vanquish Aleister Black? So in the case, yeah, he'll lose the match, but his overarching goal he accomplished. You know,
wouldn't it be awesome? Wouldn't it be great if they had a thing where Aleister Black, because his whole thing has been about like what his father taught him and all these lessons and stuff. Wouldn't it be great if he then, you know, try to take these unwashed masses he talks about and tries to teach them, you know, in his own like violent way? And
he's made it very clear that he has no desire to teach anybody anything.
Yeah, he just hates everybody. But maybe he sees some value in characters in the superstar ranks. Maybe he's referring to the WWE universe. And I'm just saying, like, maybe there's a deeper story where Big E will do something more than just lose at Hell in a Cell. You know what I mean? Or in a SmackDown main event to Aleister Black and then just go on his way, cut some promos along the way and, like, people stop caring. You know, it'd be nice if they actually had, like with The Fiend, exactly what you said, you know, have Big E, have him go back to I like the 5 count stuff. You know, and it's like people kind of remember it. Like the people who really pay attention and was watching back then remember it. It was a badass gimmick to be able to put a guy down for 5 seconds instead of 3. That's awesome. You could run with that big time. I'm kind of curious why they never really, like, he referenced it once. And it's like, man, like, give him something new to chew on instead of the New Day stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. Anyways, let's just hop into it.
Sure. So show kicked off with all the SmackDown champions standing on the stage. It's Sonya Deville's in the ring, and she's saying, hey, I want to welcome you to an extra special episode of SmackDown. News broke earlier today. Starting in July, we will leave the Thunderdome and return to the road. And she says Adam Pearce is out scouting possible locations for shows. So she thought it was right to celebrate SmackDown's Parade of Champions. She introduces, I believe first was
Ray and Dom.
Yes, Ray and Dom. And then
it was Bianca,
Natalya,
then Apollo, then Natalya.
It was Natalya.
The order, yeah. She didn't go in the order.
Then Cruz, and then Cruz stops her and gets a mic from Aziz and asks Sonya why she would dishonor him. And since he's in a match where the odds are stacked against him, he'll retain his title. He'll be unleashing total destruction on his opponents. One by one, they will all fall. And when the dust is settled, he'll once again be victorious. Then she introduces Bianca. I love it
because after that, Sonya said, okay, well, thank you for that. And you hear him say, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, his character works really good.
It's really good.
Then she introduces the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, and they play his old theme. And then Paul Heyman walks to the stage, says, how nice, a parade of champs, except it's not a parade of champions, it's a parade of title holders. Says Roman is not a title holder. He's a champion, not just a champion, the champion, not just the champion. He's the preeminent champ in all of WWE, in all of sports entertainment, which is why when someone buys a ticket to these live events coming up, they will do so knowing that WWE is represented by Roman, who will not be one of the many in the parade of title holders. He will be in a parade of champion later when Roman wants to do it. He takes his leave, and Bayley rolls in the ring and says, oh, you're celebrating champions without acknowledging me. I held the title for 380 some days during the Thunderdome era. You should be thanking me for carrying the company, especially new boy Dom up there riding your dad's coattails.
Oof.
And then she talks some crap about Natalya and Tamina. Just says, what's up to Apollo Crews.
She gives him a shout out. That was awesome.
That was great.
That was great.
Calls Bianca a cheater. Says, you used your braid at Mania. You used it to beat me at Backlash. Tells Sonya to strip Bianca the title and give it to her. Bianca walks down the ring, says, if Bayley wants the title, come take it. Bayley says, yeah, I want my rematch, but on my time. And she's about to leave the ring. And then Nia and Shayna attack Belair from behind. Tamina and Natalya run down to make the save. And then they're all taken out by the heels. We go to commercial, and of course, what do we get?
A 6-man tag match.
Yeah, it was just it was an awkward opening segment, though. I mean, as you mentioned, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It did make a lot of sense, and honestly, I don't really like these put together matches like this. I don't know what purpose they serve. So mid-match, and I mean the actual action was fine.
I mean, the match was good. The purpose is just spinning wheels because they want to prolong these feuds for some reason.
It whenever I see stuff like this, it just reminds me of Raw. It's like that's like 90% of Raw is just stuff that's spinning wheels. So like mid-match, Bianca fun splashes. I think it was Bayley and Shayna, and tweaks her knee. Tamina comes in for a bit, dominates, but in the end, Natalya ends up tapping out to Shayna.
Yeah. It was a fun match though.
Yeah, it was fine.
After that, we had a Big E interview. He says he stands in the ring tonight with dogs. He's not talking about terriers or Yorkies. He's talking about future Hall of Famers, former world champions. And he could smile because this is what he asked for. He asked to be among the best, to prove that he is the best. And said when he leaves the building tonight, he'll be the rightful Intercontinental Champion. I guess we should have saw it coming because right after that, we had an Aleister video.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, how much money do they put in all this animation? How many more of these we're going to get? I mean, that's at least the thing was, when I was watching this, I was like, okay, cool. Well, they're putting a lot of money into it, so they can't do it every single week.
Well, the production of the video stuff is really well done.
It's really well done. Like, it's shot so well. So anyways, a lot of this was mumbly, but basically, this is what I wrote down. Father's scars are marked on my body. Pain is honest. It's truth. Let's hear it for the misery in which we hide our deepest, darkest sins. Father always said there's an art to being cruel. You live proudly in your cesspool of sins and denial because it's all you are. It's become your identity, become loathsome and blind. You are sick and dying animals. It's time for me to separate the weak from the strong. As Father taught me, it's time to cull the herd. So, and it did feel like a big... the climax, if you will, of all these videos.
It did.
So it was like, okay, cool. I honestly expected it was like going to say Aleister Black next week or something like that, because it felt like he was coming pretty soon, and sure enough, he did.
It was this week.
It was this week.
This week. After that, we got Baron Corbin. Can't call him king anymore because he doesn't have his crown. Versus.
I love that Michael Cole was sticking to that. I love that was so. This whole bit was funny to me.
Versus Shinsuke Nakamura. So before the match, Corbin says, hey, I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to let my action do the talking. But prior to the match, they showed a montage of Nakamura, going around town wearing the crown, a bunch of pictures and videos from his Instagram. And then Corbin says, well, after seeing that, I can't help myself. Nakamura may call himself the king of strong style, but he's no king. A real king wears very expensive watches, drives Ferraris, leads hungry dogs of war, not some fat tabby cat, because one of the pictures is Nakamura with his cat.
Yeah.
Says a real king respects the crown. So tonight, I'm going to punish Nakamura, grind his face into the canvas with my boot. I'll take back my crown, have it cleaned and polished, and put it back on my head where it belongs. So what happens next?
I want my king hat back. Oh man! Then we had Rick Boogs come, and he was like, "Who are you?" He's like, I'm Rick Boogs, Boogs, and I came to rock with Shinsuke, the real king of Smackdown, Nakamura. And then he starts jamming on the guitar to Shinsuke's theme. Yeah. And Shinsuke comes out, and he cuts to McAfee, and he's like all on Cole, like doing the air guitar, like hitting him with it. Oh, it was abs. I was marking out so hard. It was off the rails. They went to commercial. It was just completely madness. So then, of course, we had Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Boogs is at ringside the whole time, managing via guitar. Corbin has the early advantage. Shinsuke goes for a Kinshasa, but ends up eating a big belly-to-back suplex. Corbin hits a deep 6 for 2, and at that point, soon afterwards, Boogs starts playing Shin's theme on his guitar. Corbin gets distracted from that, and Shin rolls Corbin up, which, of course, will always take out Baron Corbin.
That's his kryptonite, man. Mm-hmm. That's his kryptonite. After that, Sonya Deville's backstage on the phone. Jimmy Uso enters her office, says the Usos are going to get back together. And Sonya says, did you check with Jay about that? And Jimmy says, yeah, we're ready. We're ready to do it. And they want the smoke. They want the Street Profits. Sonya says, well, that's a match you want to build to and promote, so we'll do it next week. And Jimmy's excited.
Yeah, man. Wants to smoke. After that, Roman in his own branded tracksuit comes out.
I hope they sell those.
Are they foreshadowing Walter Imperium versus the Tribal Chief? No, not tracksuit versus tracksuit. So yeah, he comes out, but before he has anything to say, we get a quick Kevin Owens promo. He says he wants to powerbomb Sammy so hard he doesn't even remember the word conspiracy. If it means giving Big E a big L, he'll walk out a 3-time IC champ. I know he probably said something out of Apollo too. After that, we had Roman Reigns in a promo. Says, I believe myself to be a humble man. That's the first thing he says. He says, I take every opportunity to teach my sons about humility. I don't like to brag on live TV, so I'll take this opportunity to let my special counsel celebrate me. Heyman says, I am privileged enough to have a moment here to acknowledge.
Sorry, before first thing he says, he goes, oh, this is a unique surprise.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he said. I forgot to write that down. This is a unique surprise. He says, I have a moment here to acknowledge your tribal chief. Undefeated since he got back, scared the Fiend away to Raw, humanized the monster Braun Strowman, baptized his cousin back into the bloodline, stacked Edge and Daniel Bryan and pinned them at WrestleMania, banished Daniel Bryan. The backlash against the strongest, most talented member of the roster, Cesaro, where your champion Roman Reigns on his own with no one's help, beat Cesaro at his own game. My tribal chief, it is a career highlight for me to celebrate and acknowledge the preeminent champion in all sports entertainment, Roman Reigns. What else may I do for you, my tribal chief?
Yeah, he says, your whim and wish is my command. I know.
Bring me my cousin. And so Heyman goes over to comment. Yeah, I love what he does. He always goes over to commentary. He starts yelling at the producer over there to yell to hit Jimmy's music. Get him out here. Hit Jimmy's music.
Yeah.
Instead
we get Cesaro's music.
His arms in a sling. And there's just
selling?
no confidence in his voice whatsoever. It's like just even I was laughing at Roman started laughing. He said one of my favorite insults is the word bum. He said cut this bum's music.
Yeah, it was great. What is he doing out there? Cesaro said, I was back looking for Seth, couldn't find him, but I heard this annoying yapping in my ear and realized it was you out here. So Roman asked, what are you going to do? You only got one arm. You want me to break your other arm? And Cesaro says, I'll fight you with no arms, and challenges Roman to a match at Hell in a Cell. And right after that challenge was issued, Seth attacks Cesaro from behind, tosses Cesaro into the ring steps, stomps on him a little bit, keeps yelling at Cesaro, when are you going to learn? When are you going to learn? So Seth leaves. Refs are helping up Cesaro, and Seth runs back out, continues the beat down, and then stomps Cesaro kind of at the foot of the ramp.
Yeah.
And so refs and producers escort Seth back by the timekeeper's area. And so he's like, all right, I'm fine. Hops the barricade and gives Cesaro another stomp on the corrugated steel.
Nobody stopped this dude. It was worse on the steel. Oh, that was horrific. I was dying laughing. I was like, Cesaro, you got chomped out. Just stay in the back next time.
I like this interview.
In the back.
I like this interview from Seth. He's like, so what happened out there?
Oh, this was awesome.
And he goes, I don't know. I blacked out there. I don't know what happened. And then right there, Cesaro is getting rolled past him on a stretcher. And he loses his mind. He grabs Cesaro by the lapel of his suit and goes, why do you do this to me? Why do you make me this person? When are you going to learn?
Seth is on a new... He's so good these days. He is
so happy.
Damn good.
So happy they said, or he just, whatever. Don't take this so seriously.
Yeah, I know. It's so much fun. I'm fine. I'm not going to do anything. And you knew he was going to hop that barricade. You knew he was going to hop that. He was running over there, stomps his ass.
Great.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I can't root for that guy anymore. For Cesaro. After that, the Dirty Dogs came out. Roode says, Dom, don't let that win go to your head. Your dad did all that work. You reaped the benefits. Bring your son to work a day is over. I prove once and for all that you don't belong here. And then Dom is about to get a clean win over Roode. I wrote down, I said, oh man, Dom's about to get a clean win over Roode. Yes, Alabama Buell. How can I help you? Larson, continue.
All right. So, Dom avoids a charge from Bob Roode. Bob Roode hits the post. Dom hits the 619 in the corner, follows a frog splash to get the W. So the story with Dom is all about, hey, you don't belong, and he just wins every match along the way, essentially.
Good job. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, that Roode Dom match, man. Roode was an NXT champion.
I know.
Champion.
And what was the hallmark of his reign as champ? He was a tactician, a strategist.
Yeah.
He knew his opponent's weakness, and we saw an opportunity. He struck.
Yep.
You haven't seen that main roster at all. He's done more smiling when he was a babyface than coming up with sound strategy in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So after that, we get Jey Uso backstage. Jimmy walks up to him, tells Jey about the match against the Street Profits next week. And Jay's like, why'd you make a match without asking me? And Jimmy goes on. Roman says he doesn't need you. It's not about Roman. It's about us. And Jay just goes, I got to tell Roman about this tag match. I owe him that much.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Jay here. It's awful.
He's in a pickle.
So we have. Did you get to the part with Roman in his office, right?
No, not yet.
Okay,
no.
so that happened next. So Roman's in his office. Jay comes up to him, says, "Hey, we have a tag match," and Roman's like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" And he's like, "That was Jimmy and Sonya. They put it together. I didn't even know about it." And he was like, "But since we," and Roman says, "Who's we? You're being selfish right now. This is we. Everything that we do represents our family." And then Roman hugs him and like whispers something to his ear and walks away.
It seemed like it stressed Jay out.
Oh my God, Jay's doing such a great job. I know. Such a great job. He looked just, I felt for him, man. Mm-hmm. That was awful.
Mm-hmm. After that, we had a Street Profits promo. They were talking about hearing the Usos crying from all the way where they are at. And Forrest says, hey, I know they call this the blue brand, but it's not supposed to be that blue. And Dawkins says, all right, I'm going to disrespect you now. Wonders if Jimmy is going to be able to trust Jay to have his back. He goes on and says, this was actually all really good, too. This is nothing cute about what they're going to do to him next week. And Ford says, it's not paranoia, it's the Street Profits, and they want the smoke. That's a paraphrase version of it, but it was really good. This is one of the best promos they've done in a long time because it was pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After that, we had Sammy at the gorilla position waiting for the match, and Kayla rolls up on him, and he was out of it. He freaks out, and he takes issue with Kayla calling him a former champ, calls her a corporate hack, and he punctuates it by saying the persecution of Sami Zayn ends tonight.
He'll be the champion of the people once again. And then we had our main event.
Yeah, boy, what a terrific match.
It was really good.
It was really good. Much fun.
It's pretty great from the start because Kevin Owens just makes a beeline for Sami Zayn. So they kind of brawl off to the floor while Big E and Apollo Crews, they're going at it in the ring. Eventually, everybody starts fighting each other. Mm-hmm. Right before a commercial break, Big E hits his apron splash on both Zayn and Crews. He's kind of celebrating on the floor, and then Owens lays him out with a tope. And then it's just constant action. Mm-hmm. At one point, Sami Zayn misses a haluva kick. Owens goes for a stunner. Instead, Sami hits a Michinoku driver, gets a 2 count there. Sami puts Owens on the top ropes, looking for a superplex. Dude, I love it whenever Kevin Owens does this fisherman buster off the top. It's so good.
God!
I remember the first one he did against John Cena. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Mm-hmm. It's so
anyways.
Good.
Apollo Crews breaks up that pin. He's looking. Kevin Owens looking for a stunner on Crews on the apron. However, Crews counters with a Death Valley driver, and then Big E takes out Crews with a spear to the floor. And then after that, Big E unleashes a bunch of belly to bellies, runs into a boot from Sami Zayn. Owens looks for a pop-up powerbomb on Zayn. Zayn kind of jumps over him, looks for a half and half, which he would get later on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Owens counters with a pump handle neck breaker. That gets the 2 count. So Owen goes up top. Crews swipes his feet out from under him. And then Sami hits Apollo with a jawbreaker. Mm-hmm. So Sami and Crews are in the corner. And Crews is looking for like a capture suplex on Sami. Mm-hmm. And then Big E comes up from behind him, hits a German suplex on Crews, which makes Crews hit the capture suplex on Sami. It's pretty damn impressive.
That was rad.
And pretty much as soon as Big E makes contact with the mat, Owens hits him with a frog splash, gets a 2 count, and then Owens goes on to run. And then Sami hits him with the first half and half suplex. Mm-hmm. Follows with a blue thunder bomb that gets the 2 count. So Sami goes to the top rope. Crews grabs his ankle. Sami fights him off. Kevin Owens is doling out some super kicks. Hits Crews with the pop-up powerbomb. He gets a 2 there. Sami pulls Owens out of the ring, rams him into the barricade. Kevin Owens backdrops him into the timekeeper area. Sammy then pulls Owens off the apron. It hits a half and half on the floor. That looked like it sucked.
That looked like it sucked and a half, man. But honestly, both of these looks really rough. But that one on the floor, my goodness,
looked like it sucked.
Yeah.
So he gets back in the ring. He's running to try to hit Cruz with a haluva kick. Instead, he runs into an Uranagi from Big E. And then Big E hits Cruz with the big ending. Goes for the cover. Aziz pulls Big E out of the ring. Tries to lawn dart him into the ring post. However, Big E escapes and rams Aziz in the post. He gets back in the ring, and that's when the lights kind of come down the arena.
Yeah.
And there's this tunnel of light that Aleister emerges from. Gets in the ring. Apollo Crews holds on to Big E's ankle. Aleister hits a black mass. Crews covers Big E to get the win.
Yeah. Just really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. And the look they got a close-up on Apollo when he won, and the look on his face, he is so, diabolical, Like, he was just scream laughing. It was awesome.
Great.
It was so good. That dude's got so much charisma. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. We'll start off on the Twitch. I just put the Patreon thread up.
Very well.
Just now.
Robert Channel says, I don't connect with Cesaro either, but we need somebody to be a babyface getting pushed. Says anybody at this point, Big E is just there to put heels over now. I don't know if that's exactly the case, but I mean, the problem on SmackDown now is, Roman's going to have that belt for a while. So any babyface they build up is just eventually going to get knocked down by Roman.
Yeah.
Not to say that couldn't benefit some people even in defeat to Roman, but there's got to be at least somebody, or if not two people, they might think, all right, these are people that potentially could eventually beat Roman for that belt. So we don't want to feed them to Roman too early, essentially, because then that matchup won't be new or as impactful a second time around. Potentially, even though the stories be told if someone faces Roman once, loses, comes back around, eventually beats him, But
I mean, no, it's a good point. Big E hasn't. He hasn't come across Roman. I get the feeling it wouldn't shock me because if you look at the landscape, there's just not a whole lot left. He is he's probably the biggest name now that Cesaro's done with that hasn't faced him. I get the feeling they'll probably have Seth beat Cesaro at Hell in a Cell or something. That's probably going to be Hell in a Cell. And then it would not shock me if we had Seth versus Roman at I was about to say Slammiversary, SummerSlammiversary. At SummerSlam. And then I could see after that them doing a brief thing with Big E, but then he'll be dispatched like everybody else is because they're not going to have Roman lose for a very long time.
For a while, I know.
Yeah, unless they do a weird edge cash in. But I kind of feel like a cash in is going to be probably happening over on Raw. I mean, they're making a deal of Roman being undefeated. Like Paul has said undefeated so many times now that I just think that's going to be the thing until they figure out what they're going to do,
Zoe Conrad, remember that match Roode had with Drew that felt like the old NXT Roode? Good times.
Yeah. Every once in a while. Let's see here.
In a while.
Alex Foster, what should Boogs' finisher be?
Is there anything you do with windmill air guitar?
Oh, that's good.
He has punches like this.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Gut punches. Night by Night, recently your net worth increased 20-fold after Elon Musk tweeted about going into Raw. People bought hella subs, assuming it was the next big cryptocurrency. With your newfound wealth, you've decided to start a NASCAR team. What SmackDown superstars do you hire as your driver and crew chief? We hire Apollo Crews.
Yeah, that was his rebooked persona in We Book Raw, was Apollo Crews.
Cruise.
Correct. Yeah.
Crews.
And then Commander Aziz would be his crew chief, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Kenny T, not a question, but everything Aleister has been talking about, I can see Big E embodying it with his energy and personality. Maybe, I think what I was asking in the head of the show was he's gonna say exactly this. He's gonna say, hey, You are what I find offensive. Your energy, your positivity. There's nothing to be positive about. Would it be nice for it to go deeper than that? Yeah.
Yes, it would.
Is it very fitting with WWE for it not to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, that's probably what it's going to be. But you're right. It'd be nice if there's something a little more to it.
Do this.
Okay.
Power rank 5 guys that he could have feuds with given his history. Like, there isn't a whole lot of people that have wronged him in the, what is he going to go after Humberto Carrillo? And I'm not saying, like, he wronged him. I'm just saying, like, he crossed paths with him. He got wrapped up with Humberto. Ricochet over on Raw. We already mentioned Ray and Dom.
Here,
Buddy Murphy.
Yeah. It'd be great if he feuded with Dom and then you say, Dom.
Where's Dom? Yeah, I mean, the problem is, there isn't really anybody on, because his main roster experience, what is he going to do, pick a fight with an empty room? His main roster experience has not even been that prolific. Like, he hasn't done that much. He was in a room for literally
basically
months.
A year. He had a bunch of jobber matches.
He had a lot of jobber matches. Yeah.
Had a brief thing with Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
they haven't done anything. So he kind of has to start from scratch and rebuild a history. You know, I mean, I don't know, but I guess that's sort of what I'm getting at is, like, what history does he have that he could do that? Now, what they could do is, if he says, hey, this is, you represent positivity, which is what I despise because it's like, it's an illusion, and he does more than just has matches, like you were saying with the Fiend does more than just matches.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
matches is like completely secondary to anything the Fiend does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like I feel like with the Fiend, the matches are a way for him to communicate on their level, like he's doing this. So, if he could do something else with Big E, but I just don't know what it would be without immediately thinking of WWE doing awkward comedy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it could be. I mean,
I don't know either.
Look, Aleister Black's thing in these segments have come across as semi-religious in nature. There's some like religious sort of imagery that you could interpret. The giant book, the tales, et cetera, et cetera. Big E, his promos often come across like he is preaching.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some ground there that WWE could awkwardly fumble over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In better hands, maybe. If you gave it to Paul Heyman, maybe you'd have something.
Maybe.
Where they could talk, where they could do something.
It just seems like one of the things where it's like, okay, there's what's our stock reason, or one of our 5 stock reasons that we get people into a feud.
I know. No, I agree. I know. You represent what I don't like. And that, it's so easy to, it's like, okay, well, what specifically? And they're, so I don't know. It would be nice if they had something that wasn't corny, that wasn't just wrestling. And I don't know what that is. I don't
know either. I don't either. Jeremiah P., you guys win the Powerball, and with your riches, you decide to resurrect the Monarchs to bring Sacramento back to being a championship-winning city. Fill the staff position with wrestlers in kayfabe, general manager, assistant GM, 2 scouts, head of player development, and head coach.
That's too much stuff.
All right, let's do a GM and a coach.
Okay.
You got Seth Rollins as your GM. He's the architect.
Okay, I'll go with Xavier Woods as GM because he plays GM mode with Tyler Breeze.
Okay, good.
Head coach. Good. Can I...
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'll go with CM Punk because his Twitter handle is coach.
That's true.
Moses opposes. Assuming it's not one of the people in the match tonight, who should... this is a good point. I hope it's not. Who should Apollo's next challenger be? Boogs. I don't know what it's. Boogs. Booge.
Booge.
Is it Booge?
That's what it was before.
We'll call him Booge.
Until I've heard
Otherwise, okay.
Boogs, it's Booge.
Booge.
I think Nakamura would be
Oh, that's a good one.
good
Is he going to
choice.
get permanent ownership of that king?
I hope so.
That crown, rather?
I hope so.
Oh, not Buddy.
Hell in a Cell match
Oh,
between
Buddy
the two
Murphy
of them.
would actually be kind of cool. Yeah, Hell in a Cell. Main event of Hell in a Cell for the
You know, it'd be
crown.
cool for a Hell in a Cell match.
Hmm.
Owens and Zayn.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. That'd be great. Ooh,
Or-
Roderick Strong. Could you imagine if they debuted Roderick Strong in an IC title feud with Apollo Crews, Jonathan? No, who said that?
They put
White
on some
Brownie
great
said
matches.
that. Jonathan said Ricky Booby. That's just Ricky Booby.
Jorge D with the trend in 2020 of celebrity endorsed fast food meals. WB is late to the party like always, wants to get on this. WB, of course, picks tribal chief Roman Reigns to get his own celebrity collaboration meal with a restaurant. Each of you choose a restaurant and what the Roman Reigns approved meal would consist of.
Head of the table, tribal chief. I feel like there's something really obvious we're missing with this.
I mean, Burger King makes sense in a lot of ways.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know?
I can't help but think of Roman dressing up as Colonel Sanders. You know, I mean, when you think of like the chicken spread, it's usually, you know, it's not like you're sitting there eating it like other people eat. Like, do people sit
There's
down
the
at
bucket.
tables and eat fast food? Yeah, you have the spread.
You get the
It's the
bucket,
spread.
you got the styrofoam thing with potatoes, the box of biscuits. Yeah, I get
It's the spread. You know, you're at a table, long table perhaps, a family table.
Yeah,
They can sell their family giant 40-piece bucket or whatever
something like that.
disgusting filth they shovel into your mouth. Denny's.
Denny's. White Brownie with Dynamite next Friday. What's the plan for next week?
Man, Dynamite is a nothing burger show. Why don't we do this? Why don't we'll do our SmackDown review? Isn't Dynamite at like 7:30? Oh wait,
Yeah.
no. Is it 4:30 our time?
7:30. Yeah, it's on 7 or 7:30 our time.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah, because it's gonna be live. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
live Dynamite.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I guess we can keep tabs on it and mention
We'll
stuff.
do our SmackDown recap, and then I'll like have it on the TV over here. If anything important happens. we can talk
Well,
about
it's going to be on during SmackDown.
it. No, it's not. It's be on after SmackDown.
I thought, as we just said.
No, SmackDown's from 5 to 7. and it was
Okay,
SmackDown
I
over
thought it was
Dynamite.
okay. So it's not 7 Eastern; it's 7 Pacific.
No, 7 our time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. We do like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we do our SmackDown recap. And we sort of keep an eye on AEW in case anything
Mm-hmm.
happens.
Just in case. Hip Hop Hippo, I missed the end of the show. Does Aleister have his old gear back? Or
Hey,
his
you know what we
weird
could
leather
do?
pants?
Sorry,
What?
I don't mean to interrupt you. This is what we could do. Have it on during our SmackDown recap. Boy, our recaps don't go 2 hours though.
No.
We can have an elongated pre-show.
I
We can have
mean,
an
they don't go
elongated
too-
pre-show.
They don't go 2 hours, but we usually get done around 9 o'clock when the show would end.
We can do our predictions, and if anything of notice happened,
I'll still
In
do the
that-
Cody stuff.
yeah, we'll talk about
we got
our
a week.
predictions.
We got a week to work out the particulars.
It's gonna happen so quick.
Hip Hop Hippo wants to know if Aleister had his old gear back with weird leather pants from the last time he was around. He had the tights on, the shorts. He didn't have pants on.
Wait, who are we talking about now?
Aleister.
Yeah, he had trunks today.
Yes, trunks.
Yeah.
Assemble show with sub. Thank you. The Spider Dan. Based on where Cesaro and Big E are going, is there anyone you see beating Rock before he faces? Roman beating Roman before he faces Rock at Mania 39? No,
The
unless
only
he gets cashed in on.
that's the only caveat. There's the possibility that somebody cashes in on him, but no.
Ryan Supernova. How do you see Roman and Seth coexisting on the same brand until they eventually fight? Like right now, Seth is helping out Roman in so much as that he's beating up Cesaro.
Yeah.
Once that has ended, and you would assume Seth comes out the winning end of that feud, Seth will then probably turn his sights to getting the Universal title. And at that point, Roman's going to have to remind them who's the head of the table.
I think what's going to happen is, this wouldn't shock me. So Hell in a Cell, Seth Rollins finally takes care of Cesaro. And then he sets his sights on Money in the Bank. And because he's going to be so vocal about wanting Money in the Bank, obviously what comes with that is the opportunity to cash in on Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Therein lies the conflict. Seth won't win Money in the Bank, but he will go to SummerSlam and fight Roman there.
Stevens J says if Finn gets called to SmackDown for a possible SummerSlam feud with the Tribal Chief, that would be cool.
Oh, my God.
Does that change Seth and Cesaro or any other existing feuds? No, I don't think it changes much. It just would eventually push whatever feud Roman has with Seth, because they'll do that this year.
Do you think they're doing Cross versus Finn 2 on TV to get Finn the hell out of there and up to main roster?
For Money in the Bank, maybe.
It's so, I mean, even when it's what, June 13th? Is that TakeOver?
12th, yeah.
12th? June 12th? June 12th. June 12th is, my God. There's a lot happening on June 12th. Same day as Impact Plus pay-per-view.
Oh, then it is the 13th.
Kenny versus Moose.
Yeah,
TakeOver's on Sunday then.
13th,
okay.
13th, so the day after. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Got my dates mixed up.
What was I going to say? I forget.
All right. Dr. Lipkin, how great would it be if Jay won the briefcase? Jay is all aboard the bloodline, but eventually Roman goes crazy with paranoia and turns on him. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be rad. Gregory Fiella, do you like that Aleister came out for the Intercontinental title match, or would you rather kept him to try to go for the Universal Championship? No, because you're hitting a wall. You're hitting an absolute wall there.
White Brownie says, according to Meltzer, discussions are taking place about John Cena potentially appearing on the first live show back July 19th. Is this where a potential Mania match build with Roman begins?
I could see a Roman versus, if they're able to get Cena, pry him away from Hollywood. If they're able to do that, that'd be perfect for. Are you kidding me? That'd be great. Have him Cena in 2022, and then Roman in 2020. I'm sorry, Rock in 2023, because you have the two once in a lifetime guys. Oh man,
yeah.
And then I don't know who beats Roman. If he beats Cena and Rock and like maybe Brock somewhere in between, like at the SummerSlam in between, I don't know who beats Roman. I don't know if this person exists yet.
Karrion Kross. J-Mal gifted a sub to Ryan Supernova. Thank you, J-Mal. Orly says, when will WWE call up some women? They're doing the same matches for months now for both Raw and SmackDown. I don't think it was a matter of necessarily calling anybody up. They're just more or less utilizing the same 8 talents across 2 brands, and there's plenty of depth on both Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Stevens J says, I was mid-thought about Finn and Cross being on TV. Yeah, it's weird they're doing it 3 weeks before a TakeOver. Unless the TakeOver is a weird theme takeover. I mean, it's, what is it, in your house, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless the title's just not going to be defended there. Yeah, I know, it's weird.
To think the title's not going to be defended. Thick and Rugged with the sub, thank you.
Thick and Rugged. I hate that. They talked about the stupid brand-to-brand invitational again tonight. I didn't even think about it. I was like, when Shayna and Nia showed up, I was like, oh, okay, they're in the tag division. The tag, I understand. I get that the tag titles are cross-brand, but the division isn't. I think that's so silly. That is absolutely so silly. Like, why wouldn't the division be cross-division too?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, that's
cross-brand.
Like, they don't have to mention this brand-to-brand stuff. It's just, hey,
it makes sense. They lost their titles last week.
Shayna were champions. They still want the belts. It makes sense for them to show up.
It's fine. It's fine.
Don't give us the legalese justification for it. We can make sense of it.
It's super awkward.
It is awkward. Super awkward. Super awkward.
David Matushek, what do you think the crowd size will be for the first stop of WWE's return to touring? Will it be big or medium without causing spikes in COVID cases? I mean, I haven't heard of any super spreader events since the vaccination rollout, whether it's they're just not being publicized, or like nobody's really talked about if, I mean, I know Mania was open air, and the odds of chancing in an open, or of catching it in an open air, transmitting an open air, is really, really slim. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be packed. I think they're going to pack it. I think they're going to fill it.
Do the best they can. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any capacity restriction considering it's in Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll sell as many tickets as they're allowed to sell.
I mean, they're trying to. I mean,
I think
McAfee was having an orgasm tonight, saying there's going to be fans here, there's going to be fans here, there's going to be fans here.
And I think Michael Cole said we're looking to, run something about the full building or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll be here for a little while. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.